This video is to show an alternative method for pulling back checks off of pianos, grand pianos, in situations where technicians or someone is upgrading the back checks and replacing them with others. And this particular piano is Mason Hamlin Double B. You can see that I've already replaced the capstans with a new Mason Hamlin capstans that they have that are anodized aluminum. They are very nice. They're very easy to regulate because they have a nice groove on the edge which catches your regulation tool to make it easy to get into the hole. I can't say enough about this action. I've just been very happy with it. In fact, the action stack is over here. This is all regulated. We have the entire new action stack here with the I'm using the obel hammers, the regular obel hammers, not the special press or what they call the well, it's the other hammer they have is a denser hammer. This particular one here is the regular obel hammers, which I actually prefer. They have a much more balanced tone. But it's interesting. Down in the base, these obel hammers, as you get down to the bottom, they actually start using laminations in the hammers, which was very surprising to see, but actually a pleasant surprise, because down in the base you do want firmer hammers because you need to have the base more brilliant. So they increase the numbers of the laminations as you get down through to the bottom, and it works out beautifully. This sounds absolutely gorgeous once you have it in the piano. The balance of the regular obel hammers in the center, and then these ones here that have the special press, the laminations at the bottom there, gives you the brilliance without having to use lacquer. And so we have the new balanciers, whip-ins, or whatever people want to call them. As I said, this action has already been regulated here, so we have the let-off adjusted just exactly where it's supposed to be. And once I have these new back checks in the piano, then I can do bench regulation right here. I've taken my regulation rack and I've actually taken it off the normal stand that it has, which is around here somewhere. There's the stand right there with the rack missing. This is your normal regulation stand. But I've taken it and I made up this little brace on the wall here so I could just put the screws in here and do bench regulation right here with this in a nice sturdy location, and that works very well. It's very convenient, and I have enough room on my bench so I can slide the action one way or the other. I can usually do about 2 of these sections at a time, which works very nicely. But anyway, back to the back checks. I've made up this angled block, which is about 22 degrees, more or less, somewhere between maybe 20 degrees. And it has a sandpaper glued on the top. I use self-adhesive sandpaper. I use it all the time. It's very convenient to make different things with it. And I have a slot which you can slide. One side is narrower, so you can get it in between the back checks here, and then I put this on here. And this is a hammer head removal tool. Some of the technicians will recognize this. You normally use this for removing hammer heads. And there we go. Yep, that's the motion you normally get. And this has been modified in that there's normally, I'm going to put that down so I can get ready to put to take that back check off. Normally, the end of this shank here has got a slot with a wing nut on it, which is put in with a rivet. I've drilled out the rivet and just am using a nut and bolt so that I can remove it when I need to put it into the chuck of my drill. So I'm doing this with one hand. Normally when I do this process, I'm holding the end of this with my fingers just to kind of guide it on the back check. Here I'm trying to do it with one hand, but at least I can show you the process, how it works. Get that lined up there so I can just slip that on. And this wedge, you can slide forward or backwards to minimize the amount of slop that you get in here before you start jacking it off. Okay, I have to have it in forward, and this will now then nicely just pull that back check right off of there. Now, this appears to be slower, but when you're doing this with two hands, it's a very fast process. You can take these back checks on and off here, off very, very quickly. I've done all of these back checks, pulled them off, and it pulls them straight out so there's no damage to the holes, and it does a very, very nice job. I've used other methods in the past, and they have pretty expensive back check pulling tools that you can buy. You can spend a lot of money, hundreds of dollars. This here is really very inexpensive just to make, and just use a hammer shank puller instead, and it works beautifully. It works very, very nicely. The WNG back checks, I can't say enough about. They're lightweight. They have a much stronger wire on them, and the design of them at the top enables you to check your hammers just as high as you want. You can be within 1/4 of an inch easily of your let-off point, which gives you a very, very light feel on your action. Can't say enough about them, and they check beautifully, very fast and very solid checking. I just can't say enough about the whole system here. Wessel, Nickel, and Gross, it's a fantastic product, and enables you to have an action that is impervious to humidity changes, and is a very lightweight, fast, responsive action with very, very consistent friction. Just can't say enough about it. It's just a fantastic action. And my customer has already tried out the piano. He's going to be even more excited when we get the new back checks in here. And he's just thrilled. It came from a very, very heavy original action. That was very stiff, had a lot of verdigris in it, and now he has an action that not only is better and back to factory specs, but really exceeding factory specs as far as responsiveness. So this is very exciting. Anyway, hopefully this video is helpful to you. God bless, and maybe we'll have some more in the future.